But I could tell you, I'm 50 years old right now. I eat a healthy diet. I exercise 6 days a week. And I used to snore really bad about 2 years ago. But I've hacked my sleep. I use our appliance that I developed. I also developed a pillow for performance and snoring. And I also did my own orthodontics. And now I sleep great. I wake up, like you, feeling great. I run marathons. I do triathlons. I do martial arts. I still play soccer. I probably feel better than I did when I was 25. Now, my body does not recover like I'm 25, but I feel great. So, my story. I received a scholarship from the Navy for dental school, had a great career in the military, got out, moved to Manhattan, New York. I started a practice from scratch with just $2,020 in my bank account. I put my name up on the door and crossed my fingers. And then I had the opportunity to train with Larry Rosenthal, amazing cosmetic dentist. I learned a ton about smile design, veneers. I started veneering everyone that walked through my door. I also work with some great specialists. And one in particular, Jim Jacobs, amazing periodontist, became one of my mentors and best friends. I did veneers on his wife, his daughter. I veneered his son before his wedding. And Jim really saw something special in me. And he said something interesting. He said, Layne, I want you to take your skills to the next level. And I'm like, I'm not at the next level already? And he's like, not yet. So Jim flew me out to Seattle to train with John Coyce. It's the Coyce Center. It's a continuum. I sat third row, first seat. At the time, I was 37. I thought I was hot shit and knew it all. And that first day was extremely humbling because I realized I didn't know a damn thing about dentistry. I ended up finishing the continuum in just under 2 years. I taught out at the center. And then I was invited to join a prestigious pros practice in Manhattan, and this is what we did. We had 2 in-house ceramists. I was treating tons of celebrities now. My ceramist made me look like a superstar. Now I thought I was hot shit. And then I met this gentleman. So I taught with Victor, and every time we would discuss a complex case, so a case with severe wear, broken down dentition, Victor would say, I bet you they have an airway problem. Next case, I bet you they have an airway problem. I'm like, dude, what the heck are you talking about? I just want to do my veneers and crowns. So after about the 50th time, Victor starts explaining it to me. And next thing I know, I'm doing an airway residency with this amazing airway orthodontist named Barry Rayfield. And it's crystal clear that the things that we see every day in a dental office, worn down teeth, crossbite, high vaulted palate, scalloped tongue, abfractions, there's a sign of a bigger problem, an airway problem. Right? What do we do in dentistry? We fix symptoms. I love fixing symptoms every day. I made a lot of money doing it. Someone broke a tooth, do a crown. But no one should break teeth. So it's 2018. I'm spinning my wheels. I'm like, how do I fix this? Right now I'm recognizing that those patients have a problem. So I started researching it. And I found out that orthodontics was a way to kind of mitigate symptoms. So at this point, I'm spinning my wheels. I'm doing veneers. I'm doing crowns. I'm doing dentistry at a really high level, and things are breaking. And I walk home from work one day. I stop right here on Madison Avenue and 59th Street, and I literally just break down in tears. So it probably sounds strange, right? A grown-up man, I wore a bow tie to work every day, crying on the corner of Manhattan. But it's Manhattan, and there's a lot of weird shit that happens there, so maybe not so strange. So the next day, I walk into my dental practice. I pull my office manager, Charisse, aside, and I tell her, I'm selling the practice. And she's like, what the heck are you talking about? And just like that, I'm 45 years old. I'm back in school doing an orthodontic and craniofacial orthopedic residency because I want to learn how to fix the problem. So I was at a new program attached to Stevens Institute in Hoboken called CTOR. And our director was an orthodontist, a physicist, a biomechanical engineer, and a molecular biologist. So I was talking to Doc in the back. So at the age of 45, I became those things. And it was great. I was on my way. I'm going to become this amazing airway orthodontist and help save the world. And then I get a phone call from my friend Ellie that Ron died. He was not only a patient, he was a friend of mine. 50 years old, he died of heart failure. And I knew this guy had sleep apnea when I treated him. He had all the signs and symptoms of an airway problem. He snored, he had high blood pressure, acid reflux, but he also had broken teeth, severe wear, and collapsed vertical. And I told him to go get a sleep test, and he never went. And now he's gone. And that day, I committed to getting boarded in sleep. So I went to Tufts, and I got all these letters behind my name now, and I think, probably like Doc, I probably have like 13 of them. And it doesn't mean a damn thing, because every single person in this room is an airway dentist. If you make a night guard for a patient, you're treating their airway. Hopefully you're helping them. So we see this every day, right? Someone pointed out to me the white arrow. That's all I see when I see the FedEx logo. And this is, when you see this, Monday, start being like, what's going on here? This is not normal. These are compensations. No one should walk in with their teeth worn down like that. I made a really good living when I saw a patient like that, but I was treating a symptom. I missed this problem. I love this quote. Learn from the mistakes of others. You can't live long enough to make them all yourself. I've made so many damn mistakes in practice, right? You don't know what you don't know. And our dental schools, man, they are lacking. So I met my business partner, Michael Gelb. He's a famous TMJ and airway specialist. So I noticed when I was a second-year ortho resident that a lot of my adult ortho patients who were skeletal class 2, their mandibles were trapped back, had significant TMJ problems. So I reached out to Michael, and long story short, we developed an appliance. We took Michael and his father's intellectual property for TMJ and airway, and mine for ortho and airway, and we developed this incredible sleep appliance. And why would someone walk in looking like this? Shout it out. Why does someone have worn down teeth like this? Okay, exactly. And why does someone grind their teeth? So that's the answer that I always get: stress. It's stress from suffocating. And I treat a lot of kids that grind their teeth. And when a dentist asks me, well, it's stress, and I see a 4-year-old that grinds their teeth, did the 4-year-old have a bad day at work? It's from tonsils and adenoids and having an obstructed airway. So we were just discussing this before. When you see wear on someone's front teeth on Monday, those people are doing CPR on themselves. They're posturing their jaw forward to keep themselves alive. And I made this mistake for so long, because what would I do? I take this patient, and they were edge to edge, and I'd make their teeth longer with veneers. And I ended up trapping their mandible back. And what's attached to their mandible? Their tongue. And I ended up making a lot of these people worse. So my office manager, my assistant, I was on high-speed dial with Glidewell. I would veneer patients, and my assistant would walk into the room and take an upper alginate and I'd give every patient a flat plane upper night guard. And I'd say, you know what, Mrs. Jones, this is a way to protect your investment. Well, guess what? I made these people worse. Because I took someone that had narrow buccal corridors, deficient maxilla, and then I put this thing in their mouth. So I took up tongue space. But not only that, when their mandible hits a flat plane splint, it's going back. So I could never figure out. My patients would come in and be like, Layne, I woke up, my night guard was on the floor. And I'm like, you know what, I must be too tight, let me adjust it. But actually, I made those people worse. So this is our appliance. I wear this every night. I love it. Super comfortable. So watch what happens. I don't know if this will keep playing. Hopefully it will. So look at her face at the start of this video. And look what happens as her mandible goes back. So talk about aesthetics. Look at how different she looks when her mandible's back. Right? Look at her chin-throat angle, or her nasolabial angle, or her cheeks. And this is what happens when someone has sleep apnea or snoring. Once their mandible goes back, their tongue goes back. And this is our face as we age. So a lot of the orthodontics, and we were just talking about this, we were talking about 4-by extractions or 2-by extractions. Everyone gets retruded. And orthodontics, we need to do better. So the next two cases I'm going to show you are two women. They presented with jaw pain, excessive daytime sleepiness, completely worn down dentition. So look at the difference. So this woman has the lower part of our appliance in, and she did have some filler placed. But look at the difference of what she looks like. And by the way, only a dentist could give someone back lower third face height. A plastic surgeon's not doing that. That's the beauty of what we can do. And this woman looks totally different because she's sleeping better and breathing better. And same thing here. Look at the difference between this woman. Granted, we probably did her hair and makeup, maybe accessorized her a little bit. But look at her lower third face height. You could only do that with ortho or restorative dentistry or appliances. So I love our appliance. I'm a believer in CPAP if anyone uses it. But the biggest fail on those adjuncts are position. If someone's on their back, all bets off. So about a year and a half ago, I worked with one of my best friends as an ENT, and we were trying to figure out, like, treating a couple of patients. And he was like, well, you know what? I'm going to tell the patient to put a tennis ball in their T-shirt. And I'm like, Jay, that makes no sense. If the person rolls on their back, it's going to break their sleep cycle. It's going to fragment their sleep. I'm like, what about a pillow? He's like, well, how would you design it? So I took a piece of paper out. I drew it. I said, you know what? I'm going to reach out to one of my friends from the Navy. So he 3D printed me a model, and I developed a pillow for performance and snoring. We're going live, I think, September. And really the message is it's not one thing, right? Like, I could tell you that I could do great orthodontics and help these people. It's one piece of the puzzle. And by the way, snoring and sleep apnea, it's an incurable disease. It's like diabetes. You can manage symptoms. You get me a kid before the age of 10, I could fix a kid, though. So I hack my sleep. I think the two most important things for sleep are going to bed and getting up the same time every day, weekend or weekday, and temperature. And between 68 and 72 degrees. So exercise, super important. Sleep on a comfortable pillow. It's a little bit self-promoting, but we have about 300 pillows we have out in the market right now. I've sleep tested people. We're getting great results, great feedback. Our pillowcase, I think, is going to be made of eucalyptus, so very similar to silk. Minimize alcohol and caffeine, and refrain from using electronics. That's probably the hardest one. So before I finish, I want to leave you all with 3 things. When you see this patient Monday, be curious. Ask questions about snoring and sleep and airway. Questions are our best tools. Second, never unsee this again. Remember the FedEx logo. Just see it differently and treat it differently. You could really save someone's life. Lastly, each person in this room has a gift. I had a gift. I used to make people's teeth look great. You all have a gift where not only you make their teeth look great, you make their faces look great. You make them look younger. But you could prolong their life. I wear my watch from the Navy every day because it reminds me where I came from when I had nothing. And my career could have been very different. Yet I get to be on this stage helping all of you give your patients a better life. That's a freaking gift. Thank you. So if you guys want to learn more, you could follow our QR code. We're donating a sleep appliance. I could tell you, we are getting incredible feedback from patients. I wear one. I love it. It's super comfortable. It's like clear aligners, right? Everyone that walks into your office, you can make them a clear aligner. That's kind of what we did with our appliance. Thank you.